Hey guys, welcome to the pilot episode of a new show I'm doing called right now it's called Mechanics, etc. What the show aims to do is to focus on lower level players, so like diamond, even masters, not professional basically, and find gaps in their game knowledge, their game sense, their mechanics, etc. All the core fundamentals that form that excellent pro gamer attitude. Like you'll see players, at the top of the level, Naniwa, Dongregu, they very, very, very rarely make mechanical mistakes, and that's kind of the big thing about pro gamers is their mechanics are irrefutably the best that they can be. And what you see lower level players doing at the moment is kind of they find a build on Team Liquid, they find a replay of a pro, and they copy it. And if the game doesn't go exactly as they plan, it all goes to hell, like, because their mechanics are not there. Like, it's great finding builds, yes, I understand, but if you don't have that solid foundation, all you're going to be doing is copying a build. Like, for example, Stefano's Freebase Roach Max. Now, this build is very, very good. Stefano does it almost every single game against every single Protoss opponent because it's good. Like, you can adjust it, etc., etc. But say you see Stefano do this build, okay? And he gets to 3 hatcheries, his 4th hatchery, and he starts pumping roaches at 8 minutes 30, for example, okay? So you go into the game and you go, double gas at 6 minutes, Roach Warren Evo Chamber at 7 minutes, start pumping roaches between 8:30 and 9 minutes, and then Stefano goes and attacks and he wins, okay? But what if the build you saw, you Forge Fast Expand into 2-gate Zealot Pressure, all of a sudden your timings are completely wrong. Like, this 9-minute Roach Pump has to be like a 7-minute Roach Pump, and all of a sudden you're flustered, you don't know where to go. I'm sure you found yourself in this situation many, many times. So what this kind of show aims to do is make sure that you've got that solid foundation where you can then teach yourself how to play these builds. So for example, your mechanics are absolutely solid, you're very, very good mechanically, you can hit those lava injects, you can make sure you're chronoing everything, etc., etc. And then if you spot a pro build, like for example Naniwa's like Gateway Expand versus Zerg, you know how to do that. Like, you can watch it, you can study it a little bit, you can copy it, but then you know how to adjust, you know how to get better, and this idea is what will make you a better player. So why should you listen to me? Well, I've been around the Starcraft community for not so long now. I'd say like publicly around 5-6 months, but I've been playing since beta. And a few months into season 4, maybe 5, so quite late into Starcraft seasons, I was floating around Platinum, okay? And I was trying to copy builds, I was trying to do what Zergs do, and of course back then Zergs won. It wasn't great for Zergs in that sort of environment, and there's a really loud motorcycle, great. So I decided that I wanted to be good at this game. So I was Platinum, season 6 maybe? And I just kind of decided I want to be good now. And I played solidly for 3 weeks. This is what works for me, won't work for you maybe. It might, you never know. But I played solidly from 3 weeks, and I got from Platinum to Masters. And all that time, I wasn't copying pro builds. I wasn't watching streamers trying to get ideas, blah, 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 blah. I was focusing on my mechanics. I was making sure my lava injects were solid. I was like, my camera hotkeys were being used. I was down from using, I think I was using 2 hotkeys, like Hatchery and Army, and now I use like Hatchery, Army, Infestors, Harassment, Queens, etc., etc. Like, I found what worked for me, and basically focusing on mechanics solidly means that I could get from Platinum to Masters in about 3 weeks. Now, I'm not guaranteeing that everyone will be able to do this. This was just me. I've had a lot of experience. I played Warcraft 3, Brood War, etc. So yeah, that's how I did it. And because I did it that way, I actually switch between Protoss, Terran, and Zerg now, and I play all to a fairly high level. Like, my Zerg's Masters, my Protoss is like low Masters, and my Terran's like high Diamond low Masters as well. So that's me. I mean, I focus on these mechanics. I got lucky. This is me, basically. So what works for me won't work for you, but hopefully I can give you this solid foundation. You can find something that works and you can use it. So this is a pilot episode. Let me just explain what's going on. So I've introduced myself, introduced the show. What I've done is I found a couple of replays from a Zerg player named Warg on Starcraft strategy. So that's reddit.com/r/r/Starcraft strategy, maybe Starcraft_strategy. Be able to find it on Reddit anyways. Very easy to do. And he's a gold, silver level Zerg. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to analyze 2 replays from him. And we're not going to focus entirely on his build. That could be wrong. We're going to focus on his core mechanics, his hotkeys, his saturation, his scouting, his map control, his map awareness, etc. These solid core mechanics that can translate into any aspect of your gameplay. So yeah, introduce the show. We're running through a list right now. There's a pilot episode, bear with me. The do's and don'ts of improving. Okay, so most people, when they go to improve, will just play a lot of games. And that works for me. It might not work for you. I found I think I played 25 to 30 games a day for 3 weeks. And I got really, really good. I got really good at recognizing situations. My hands got faster. I improved quite a lot. So that works for me. But some people might improve by watching streamers, for example. Like, that's a big thing I do. I've always got a stream open. I'm always watching what these Zags are doing, what these Protossers are doing. Like, watching Naniwal play is absolutely incredibly fun. He's so good. Like, if you want to watch a Protoss, watch Naniwal. So basically, like, watching streamers, like, where they put their buildings is a big thing for most people. Like, have you ever put down a proxy pylon and it's just immediately scouted and you're like, oh, he must be hacking? But then you look at the replay and he's like got an overlord sitting there. That's because people do certain things. Like, all Zergs will put their first overlord behind your natural gases if you're a Protoss. Well, most good Zergs will. So you don't kind of build tech there. Most Zergs will scout an overlord in a certain pattern. They'll do lings in certain patterns, and recognizing that is part of your mechanics. And watching streamers can give you a massive indication of where they put buildings and stuff. That's what I really like doing. Also, like, when they do like new timing attacks, like Naniwal's Gateway Expand, as I've mentioned before, with that early kind of Zealot Stalker pressure. That's new. It's exciting. You've got to know about these things. So that's another good way to improve. Massing games, I've mentioned. Another thing, now I've coached a few people and they've gone, I get really frustrated really quickly. I play 4 games and I've lost 4 and I don't want to play for the rest of the day. And I'm like, okay, that's good. Like, you don't want to play when you're angry because it will make you fall out of love with this game. And to get really good at this game, you have to enjoy it. Like, there's no way that you can be a professional player and not enjoy the game. It's like, I just want money. And you will never get to that level if you do not love this game. So what I usually say is, right, okay, you're laddering, you've lost 4 in a row. What does that mean? And they go, well, I'm losing. I don't want to lose. I'm like, okay, you're losing, yes. But what does that mean? And they kind of think about it for a second and they'll go, I'm losing ladder points. It's like, okay, so what do these ladder points mean? I'm like, well, it's my rank on the ladder. And what does your rank on the ladder mean? And they'll say something along the line as, well, it shows how good I am. It's like, no, it doesn't. For example, there's people in Masters now that are better than 60-70% of the Grandmasters. There are people in High Diamond that could be beating Low Masters. Ladder points, ladder rank does not matter. If you're so obsessed with this ladder rank, then just play customs. Like, play 100% customs. Get yourself 3 or 4 practice partners. Play nothing but customs. Like, if that's really what you want to do, but you need to keep positive. Like, if you lose, learn something from it. If you win, don't go, oh, yeah, I won, next game. Learn something from it. Keep this positive attitude, keep this positive mindset towards this game. Because the second you start not liking the game, not liking your raise, whatever, like, I don't know. As soon as you start falling out of love with this game, you slow down improving. So the fastest way to improve is to enjoy what you're doing, learn from it, and not worry about ladder points. Ladder points mean absolutely nothing. They are the least form of skill measurement in the world. Like, you don't see the top of the EU ladder is probably Empire Cass or Empire Happy, one of those two probably. They're top of the Grandmaster ladder in the EU. So does that make them the best player in the EU? No, it doesn't. So always keep positive. Don't worry about your ladder points. If you're learning a new style, you are going to drop. You might even get demoted. Who cares? You're learning. That's the important part. Another thing students often say is like, oh, you know, blah 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 is doing this build, I should do this build. Blah 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 is expanding at this time, I should expand at this time. You know, they defend, and then they win. And I say you shouldn't have to fit a mold. If you like being super aggressive in a game, find a build and a style that works for you. And again, this comes back to your core mechanics. If your core mechanics are solid, you could do any style you want. Like, you could look at your player on the ladder, you've played him 5 times before, every time he's done some 2-base timing against you. Okay, so you can now play either super aggressive off those really good mechanics before that 2-base timing hits. You see a lot of Protoss doing it now, where they'll get 6 or 7 gates and hit a Terran at 9 minutes before they get medevac and stim, because that's a common. Or you can go the completely other way. Your mechanics are absolutely solid, so you know the exact timings for gateways, you know the exact timings for unit production, where you can defend, you know, this aggressive 10-minute push because your mechanics are good. So if you want to be aggressive, be aggressive. If you want to be passive, be passive. If you want to switch it up every game, do that. If you want to, you know, look at the time, if it's an even number, then you be aggressive. If it's an odd number, you be passive. Whatever. Like, as long as you've got these mechanics, you can play any style you want, any style that suits you. That's why so many pros like will not fit in a mold. Like, you see casters saying, "Oh, blah 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 is really aggressive," and he makes it work. That's because his mechanics are solid. He understands the game. He understands timings. Don't fit a mold. Like, it's the worst thing you can do is try to play outside of your comfort zone. Sometimes you have to, absolutely. But make sure you're playing comfortably, you're enjoying the game, you're being positive, you're learning. That's the most important part. So yeah, what can we do now? We're going to jump into this first game from the Zerg's point of view. As I said, I did pick up these replays from Starcraft Strategy. The guy's name's Warg. So let's quickly jump into this game. I think it's here. Yes, it is. Awesome. So we're going to focus on the Zerg point of view. And we're just going to play this through. So straight away, like, you can tell he's fairly low level because he doesn't split. Now this is something you can do, or you don't have to do. Like, basically you grab 3, click, grab, or grab 6, grab 3, click. Like, just separate them so they mine a little bit more efficiently. Just speed through this a little bit. Another thing you can do is worker pairings, but again, you don't need to focus on little things like that just now. So as a Zerg, obviously you want this 9 Overlord, so that's good. As soon as you've got 100 minerals, get that 9 Overlord. And again, this comes down to knowing the build, knowing mechanics, so that's good. So 9 Overlord, immediately 2 drones. And this is the 13th drone. So this 13th drone should scout. This is the common timing for scouting, is this 13th drone. So immediately we see that he's not sending out a drone. So this is a large kind of indication of a low player, is not scouting. Now, most low players will tend to scout, right? What they'll do is they'll take this worker, they'll click it into the Terran base, and they'll go, okay, the Terran's there. What else is he doing? Yeah? So if he just scouted right now, he sees this barracks going down on the low ground, and he can get a pretty good indication. Not to mention, he can harass. Like, this could slow him down completely. Again, mechanically, if you can manage 100 APM to kind of harass and make sure your worker doesn't get killed, etc., brilliant. If you can't, just kind of click about, you know, focus on making your drones rather than harassing here. So the first mistake that Warg has made is not scouting. Now this 13th drone should scout 100% of the time, every game, every single time. Like, there's no reason not to scout at all. So we'll carry on, and right now Warg is in the dark, okay? So he doesn't know if he's getting 2 racks. He doesn't know if the Terran's going CC first. He doesn't know if the Terran's opening 5 racks proxy. You know, there is nothing you can know. So another good thing he's doing right now is expanding on 15. Now This is what I mean by following a build, okay? So he's looked on teamliquid.net or wherever he's been looking for a build. Excuse me 1 second. Yes, okay. So he's looked at this build and he's gone, okay, my build should be 15 hatchery, 15 pool, 15 gas, probably. That's what I'm guessing. And he's so focused on this build that he doesn't know that this is happening. This is a huge indication of what this game is going to be about. He doesn't know if there's a command center going down. He doesn't know if there's a racks here and a racks here, or even 2 racks here, or even 3 racks here. And if that pool comes down late, like 17, 18, like say the build says build a pool on 20 because, you know, we can be greedy as hell, and he builds a pool on 20 and there's 2 barracks here producing marines, he dies. And that's because he's following a build without knowing the core fundamental mechanics. Okay, so we'll carry on following, we'll follow him. We won't follow his camera because it might be a bit crazy. And we'll go ×2. So he's building, you know, he's getting his 15 pool, so 15 hatch, 15 pool. So yeah, he's building drones and he's getting us 15 gas. So yeah, he's looked up this build, he's seen 15, 15, 15, but he has no idea what's going on right now. So right now, there could be 2 racks sitting here. Yeah, and he's behind because he's going to die, basically. So yeah, he's getting his hatchery down, he's getting some lings out, he's getting 2 queens. All good, all good. Right, we'll slow the game down again. So these lings are out now. Let's just focus on this again for just a second. So he hasn't scouted, so he doesn't know what the Terran's doing. And he's built 4 lings completely blind. This could be 2 drones, okay? That is a lot. You know, these 4 lings could be 2 drones. And if these lings achieve nothing, that's wasted 2 drones, that's wasted 2 ling, that's wasted 2 lava. Basically, that's wasted 100 minerals that could have been drones, that could have been still alive lings, etc. So, if the Terran has decided to command center first and then just wall off, then these lings are completely useless. And that is just literally because he didn't scout in the beginning, and he's following a build blindly without the core fundamental understanding of the game, like the mechanics. So we'll see what these lings do. So these lings are probably going to go to his base, and they're probably going to scout, okay? And then he's going to be met with the bad news, and all of a sudden his build is 2 minutes behind because he didn't scout at the beginning of the game. Okay? So, no, he's not even going to scout. So basically, right now, it's 5 minutes in the game. The Terran player could have 2 gas here, making a blue flame Hellion all in. Like, you just don't know at this lower league. There is no reason not to scout. So basically what he's doing now is he's getting these queens up, he's injecting, he's getting lava, but he has no idea what's going on in Terran's base. The Terran base is now literally a 1 racks fast expand. And it's really, really bad not to scout. That's kind of my core element here. So these lings are now going to scout, finally. No, okay, I decided not to scout yet. So it's 5 minutes in the game and you still have no idea what's going on. I can't stress how bad this is. So he's going to scout and he's going to get the bad news that the Terran has expanded. Now, if he'd have got this news earlier, he could have probably skipped gas and got a really early 3rd hatchery. Or he could have just droned like crazy. Like, these lings are now almost useless. What I do like he's doing is keeping control of this watchtower. That's really, really good. So he's going for a 2nd gas now. Wouldn't recommend this. Again, like, let's get back into kind of scouting and what's going on here. So, Warg is probably following a build, okay? So, he's seen that you open 15 hatch, 15 pool, 15 gas, get 100 gas, get speed, pull off gas. Okay? And then he's like, okay, at 30 supply, I get my 2nd gas. But, what if 30 supply is this Terran all-inning? What if 30 supply is this crazy, crazy greedy build. Okay, so he's going like free command center before racks, and you're just like sitting there like, yeah, 30 supply, I'll get another gas. What does this achieve? This achieves absolutely nothing right now, unless of course you're going to Baneling bust him, in which case you don't really need 2 gas. But again, if you're following this build order blindly and not knowing what's going on, like for example, I run up this ramp, say I forgot to scout, okay, I run up this ramp at 5 minutes, see that, okay, that's not good, because obviously you don't know what's going on behind this. You can assume a fast expand, but it might not always be. So that's where this Overlord comes into play. You get this Overlord in the base, see what the hell's going on. But I would not be taking gas. I would be getting a super early expansion, because my game knowledge knows that if this Rax is here and he's expanding with a bunker, that probably means he only has one Rax and he doesn't intend to attack me anytime soon. So it's like, okay, I'll take a 3rd hatchery, I'll drone up to 60, and I'll keep map control. So this is what core mechanics and core game knowledge can give you. It can give you that little bit of edge. If you blindly follow a build order, sometimes you just lose because you don't have enough stuff, or you have too much stuff and not enough drones. Like, it's really, really complicated to kind of explain. But once you kind of understand the game, understand these mechanics a little bit better, you'll really kind of get those wins that you wanted. You'll get better at the game, you'll improve quicker, and that's what this show is aimed at. So we see Warg now just kind of chilling outside the base. I like this is really good. The Overlords, not really seen much. It's seen a couple of gas, but at this stage in the game that's fairly common. So right now Warg is just following a build order, okay? He's getting Banelings, he's getting an Evo chamber. His drone count's extremely low, because right now he doesn't really know what's going on, so he's kind of like, oh no, this is different to last game, but I'm going to follow the build anyway. So that's basically what's going through Warg's head right now. So we've seen him go up to Leia. It's a pretty standard timing for Leia, but what can you do with Leia with 28 drones? And now he's making 10 lings because, well, he doesn't know why. That's the problem, basically. So we see the Baneling nest coming down, and ling speed's done, great. He's taking a 3rd, but right now he's taking a 3rd because, well, he doesn't know. That's the problem. Like, for example, you're on 28 drones, okay? For a start, the optimal saturation is 16, so 2 rows on minerals, and then obviously 6 on gas. So 2 rows on minerals, 6 on gas. So he's missing drones here. Take the queen out. He's missing drones here, and he's missing drones here. So you should probably saturate these 2 bases before you take a 3rd, until you get this like really high level of knowledge. So it's a general rule of thumb is saturate this, and then take a 3rd. But of course, right now he's building lings because, he assumes he needs to, because he can't see what's going on. He can't see what's going on because he didn't scout early game. Now this is a core mechanic that has been overlooked in this game, and he's really, really going to suffer for it. So we'll carry on playing. So he's taking a 3rd, which is, it's okay to take a 3rd. It's great that he's taking a 3rd, but with these 2 bases undersaturated, I mean, he's banking 200 gas that he can't spend because he has no way of spending it. And the one good thing he was doing in this game was keeping this watchtower. And now for some reason he's brought the watchtower, he's brought these lings back for no reason at all. Like, there is absolutely no reason for these lings to come back. You always want to hold these watchtowers. It gives you that extra couple of seconds to know an attack's coming. So he's getting +1 melee, which is absolutely great. Love it. Love upgrades. Upgrades are so good to get. Always trying to be upgrading. If you have an Evo chamber, always be upgrading something. And now he's getting an Overseer, which is great. Okay? But this is 8 minutes 30 in the game. Okay? The Terran is going for a mech build. By the looks of it, it looks like biomech, so it would be getting, Siege Tank, Marine, Marauder with medevac support with a starport. Again, like, this is low level game, so not really the best indication of what a Terran would do. His saturation's like pretty bad as well. Like, he's got 8 there, and he's got almost saturated there. Oh no, sorry, it caught 2 gas. So yeah, almost saturated there. So that's pretty bad as well. But what the Terran is doing right is he is, just making SCVs, he's making units, blah blah blah. What he could be doing better, obviously, is taking towers, scanning, etc., etc. But it's up to the Zerg player to get in. Right now, the Terran could be sitting there with 10 racks. It could be anything. It could be sitting there with 10 racks, and he's about to attack you. And you kind of lose. I mean, you've been in this situation so many times where you will just lose and you'll not know why. So you go onto websites like teamliquid.net. It's like, how can I help? And it's because these core fundamentals aren't being addressed. You're not taking watchtower control. You're not saturating your bases. You're not doing anything with merit or reason. You're just doing it because someone told you to. And this is not the way you want to play this game. So this Overseer is now morphed in. So that's good because he is going to be able to get a scout off. But the scout is, he hasn't seen inside this guy's base. And it's 9 minutes, well, almost 9 minutes into the game. Again, sending a link out to the watchtower is probably good. This Overseer has been morphed in, but it's not being used. So that's bad. Checking his third, very, very good. You want to know if he's expanding or not, because that kind of dictates everything else. Checking this third as well, very, very good. Because if he's got this third base, then he can't have a lot of units, etc., etc. So he's going up to Infestation Pit because, infestors are good. But again, he doesn't have the gas to support it because he doesn't understand the core mechanics of the game. You need, ideally, 4 gases to support Infestor. Ideally 6, but 4, you can get Infestors out. So there's basically, this Marine's just walked straight across the map, seeing he's got Ling Baneling, he's got this. And you can tell this is a low-level game. So we're just going to speed through the rest of this replay, because I think the mechanical issues right now have been addressed. He's not scouting, he's not maintaining watchtower control, he's not saturating his bases. He just, he's doing a little bit of everything because, some build orders told him, or he's watched some pro get a Spire at 11 minutes after Infestation Pit. He's getting 1 Infestor out because that's all he can afford. It's all these little core mechanics. And then basically what will happen, I'm guessing, in this game is the Terran will push out with this massive army. As you can see, we'll just follow this army down. So the Terran's going to push out with this massive army, okay? And the Zerg player's going to lose. And the Zerg player is now going to turn around and say, well, how do I beat, 12 tanks in my base? Like, for example, okay. So this is absolutely perfect what this Terran player is doing, okay? Because the way we want to kind of address this show. So the Terran player just drops, his whole army in this base, okay? And, great fungal. It's always really nice, but the army survives, okay? So then the Zerg player... Let's turn the sound off for just a second. The Zerg player is going to turn around and go, well, how do I beat this if there's 4 tanks in my base? Like, this Terran dropped 4 tanks in my base. Oh my god, drops are overpowered. How do I beat this many drops in my base? Okay? And they'll focus on this insignificant tiny event that happened to kill them. Okay? Now this is a really, really important thing to note. The Terran dropped in your base and it killed you. Okay? That isn't the reason you lost this game. The reason you lost this game is because you've had 46 workers the entire game, and you're building infestors without being able to support them. You've got 1,300 minerals banked. You haven't even touched this base. You've been missing injects. Look how high that queen energy is. Look how high that queen energy... Oh, okay, that one's quite low, but I think that was a fresh queen. Look how high queen energy is. We've been missing injects. You've been doing stuff without thinking. You've not had this watchtower control. If you have this watchtower and you see this Terran army here, that gives you about 30 seconds to prepare. You can morph those extra banelings. You can swing around this side for a flank. You can get your infestors ready, etc., etc. But Warg will probably look at this game and go, how do I beat when he drops 5 tanks in my base? How do I beat that? And someone will go, well, you don't let him drop in your base, or you put spores and stuff down. So next game, you see Warg, he'll have like a spore, a spine, a spore, a spine. You'll have lings like sitting around here. He'll have another spore here. You know, you have lings and queens like kind of hovering around here, spores and spines, etc. And then the Terran just pushes his front door and kills him. And he's like, well, how do I beat if the Terran goes up to my natural and just kills me? And then people will go, oh, I've been doing this thing. Like, you'll see, you know, Don Regu, who would burrow like 20 banelings here. So next game, he has spores and spines and queens and lings and blah, blah, blah. And then he's got like 30 banelings burrowed here. And, you know, he's ready. He's only got like 30 drones because he's focused so hard on burrowing banelings here. That's like his entire life goal is to burrow banelings right in this spot. So he does that. He focuses so hard on that. And then the Terran army just kind of like waltzes in, scans, destroys all his banelings, and he loses. And he's like, well, what if the Terran player scans? What do I do then? And then someone will tell him, blah, 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 blah. And he'll focus on that. And all this time, he's trying to beat one specific situation. And maybe he does. Like, maybe, you know, someone goes, how do I defend against drops? And he goes, well, you put spores and spines everywhere. So he puts spores and spines everywhere, and it kills all the drops, and then he just moves his army into him. And he thinks, oh, great, you know, now I'm good against Terran, I can beat Terrans. But what he's missing is the fact that he's not going to get better. He might be able to defend a specific situation if it goes into his favor, but the idea is to defend all situations, like know exactly what's going on, okay? And that's what building your mechanics does. So of course, like, he might end up clearing this up, and I think he will, but yeah, he clears it up. And then look what's coming his way. So he's, you know, he's cleared up this big army. You know, he's not got any drones. He's continuing to build lings. And then another army just kind of waltzes its way into your base and you die. Because you just don't have enough stuff. Because you've missed injects. Because you've not scouted. Because you don't know saturation. It's all these core mechanics that is eventually going to lose you the game, okay? So, back to me, hello, while I kind of adjust this next replay and talk to you guys at the same time. So, that game, unexperienced eyes might look at that and say, that drop killed him, okay? Yeah, you'd be right, the drop did kill him. It definitely killed him, like, that's what done the damage. But a better player would look at that and go, well, you didn't control the watchtower. You didn't saturate your mineral lines. 16 on minerals, 6 on gas. You just built stuff for no reason. That's another massive thing. You built an infestation pit and a spire, and I think I saw 2 infestors. You know, it's not good to do this. So this is why you need to work on your mechanics. You need to saturate your bases, which is a mechanic. You need to scout, that's a mechanic. You need to do all these weird and wonderful things where you understand the game and you improve the foundations. Or, like, for example, you know, you bake a cake. You bake the base, you know, and then you put the base, if you're making a 2-layer cake, I don't know about cakes. But you put the layers together, and that's your foundation for this cake. And then this cake can become anything you want. You could stack pancakes on it. You could put it, you know, fill it full of strawberries. You could frost it with cyanide. I don't know. You can do anything you want to these foundations to make it what you want it to be. And that's exactly what Starcraft needs to be. You need this solid foundation, and then you can put the fancy stuff on it. You can then learn how to split your marines so a baneling never hits them. You can learn how to, you know, drop multiple locations once you've got these core mechanics. I can't stress this enough. Core mechanics are so important. So we'll jump into this next game. It's a little bit long, so we'll times 4 the beginning. But once again, I think it's the same 2 players. I'm unsure, but anyway. So we see the you know, Zerg player doing this wonderful kind of, you know, 9 overlords and forgetting to scout again. Like, luckily enough, he's going to scout with like this double overlord, which is fair enough. But then he gets his 15 hatch, his 15 pool, and then again, 6 lings. That's 3 drones, yeah? And the Terran is going 1 Rax CC with a bunker. So these 6 lings are now completely useless. This should have been 3 drones. If he'd have scouted and seen the 1 Rax with the CC coming, which you can see quite easily, you don't see gas. You can hang around just before that Marine gets you and you can see that CC going down. And I've had this entire overlay on my face the entire time, haven't I? So yeah, we see the CC coming down. Luckily it was only 5 seconds. So we see the scout coming down. And, it's really obvious that these lings should not have been made. Like, maybe make 2 so you can take this watchtower, take this watchtower. But you don't know what's going on. You need to see what he's doing, because if I run in and see a 1 Rax FE, it means I just drone like crazy. Like, I drone, I get queens, I take a third really, really early. But now Warg doesn't know what the opponent's doing, so he's just blindly made 6 lings. It could have been 3 drones. That's 150 minerals. That's a lot of minerals to spend early game on nothing, basically. So we'll carry on this game. And these lings are going to do a great job of running to their death, probably. So yeah, these lings are going to be 150 minerals. And they don't even check his natural. Like, this is what I mean by core mechanics and understanding of the game. You need to know what's going on. If you don't know what's going on, you just die. Like, for example, these lings poke up. They don't see the expansion, but they see a bunker, so they can be pretty sure there's an expansion. Again, that comes with game knowledge. Good saturation on his main, but then, he spends a gas geyser and he puts more people in gas. Again, you see this timing where he's getting this gas and he doesn't know why. Like, there is no reason to get gas against a fast expanding Terran this early. You do not need it, because you can hold off all early pressure with lings and queens and spines. So you do not need this early gas. But Warg is playing completely blind, so he has to, just go with, what someone's told him or what he's seen a pro do, and he doesn't understand why. So again, this ling, really, really good, because this gives you the early knowledge, but you should have this watchtower, which you missed, unfortunately, but, you should have this watchtower. You should also try to get an overlord in there. The 3rd base is really good, but again, collecting so much gas. He has 200 gas. He's making, he's going for roaches, which is absolutely fine. Like, the units you make right now don't really matter. But if you look, like, he's got a spine crawler in his minerals. Like, let's just pause here. Okay. Marines coming. Bad, bad, bad. Okay. So, what does Warg know? Well, Warg knows that there's a bunker here, and that his opponent spawned there. That's all Warg knows right now. And that's bad, because this bunker could be here, but instead of a CC, it could be like 5-6 racks, okay? And then he pushes at like 7 minutes and he just wins the game, because you've gone, okay, he's expanded because I don't know what's going on. You're collecting gas, you're making roaches, you're getting a third. Like, you're doing everything because you've seen a pro do it, or because you're like, okay, I'm playing blind. What do? I make roaches, okay? And that's obviously bad. So we'll go to his vision, and he doesn't have the tower, and he doesn't know what's going on. So his earliest indication right now of if there was forces attacking him was if they were here, or even worse, here. And you're guaranteed to lose a base. So as you can see, is like Marines are actually here, and Warg has no idea right now. So we'll see how this plays out. And we'll see, okay? So, this Terran decides to not engage up the ramp, which is always good. But instead, he's going to attack this 3rd base. Now, luckily for our Zerg player, he does have a lot of lings and roaches, so great! Okay, so you've cleared that attack up, you're feeling good. But, if you look at the income and stuff, you'll see that the Zerg player is on 22 harvesters to 35. Now, why is he so far behind in drones? Well, this is a drone. Like, this is what could have been a drone. This is a drone. Like, there's no reason for that. He made a lot of early lings for no reason. Like, all these could have been drones. And you may say, well, if he didn't have this army, he would have died. And I say, no. Because if he had 50 drones right now, and he's got this watchtower, when this group of like 10 Marines walk over and you see them, and you've got 50 drones, you just make an army instantly. If you understand, like, if you've got the mechanics. This is literally my core point. Like, you may say, like, okay, I had an army, I killed him, and then I went and won. Yay, I won, I'm good. But then you kind of look at, it's like, well, you know, you should have had, instead of having 22 drones right now, you should have like 60. He's like, yeah, but I won. He's like, yeah, but say the next player, you know, just drones, and then, you know, you try to attack him when he's got like 70 SCVs and like, you know, 20 barracks and a couple of factories and a couple of starports, you just lose because he's got much better economy than you. And this is all down to mechanics. Like, literally, if you can improve your mechanics, you will level up through the league so quickly. Because if you can just get like 80 drones and 4 bases and then crush his army because you can make an army like almost instantly, then you just win. You know, it's just one of those things. So again, like, the Ling is not watching the watchtower. You know, he doesn't quite know what's going on. Finally, he gets someone on the watchtower. You know, he's doing this, but look what's happening in this game right now. It's 27 drones to 49 harvesters, and he has a third base coming up as well. Yes, you have the bigger army, as you can see, 55 to 27, but eventually he's going to have a bigger army, and you can't attack into this. Like, you just can't. Like, you could snipe his third, yeah, well done, you know, but eventually the Terran player is just going to win because you don't have this mechanics, you don't have saturation. You know, you've wasted income on drones, and, you know, right now he's building Hydralisks, Banelings, Roaches, and Lings, and all he knows the Terran player has is Marines. And so, you know, we're going to see the Terran player now set up in a decent siege position. You know, separating his Marines out, that's really good. A couple of tanks, a couple of bunkers going down. And look what happens. Like, you attack him, you lose, like, you know, you lose 10 Lings because you've poked. He's lost nothing. Those 10 Lings, like, this just says it all. Like, eventually you are going to lose without these core mechanics behind you. Saturation, scouting, etc, etc. So we are seeing the Zerg player just kind of make units, you know, he's making a Spire, he's getting his +1 upgrade. Like, none of this stuff makes sense because he doesn't know what's going on in this game because his mechanics are not there yet. Infestation Pit coming down, Baneling speed coming down, great. Creep spread going out, brilliant. You know, this should have been done obviously a lot earlier, but look, we have a drop now. And the drop kills a bunch of Lings, and then he picks up and he leaves. So you lose, he gains. He's even expanding here because he can. And look what happens. You just lost your entire army. Okay? So you just lose your entire army. And because you've only got 32 harvesters, and you've been missing injects, and you've only got 3 bases at 70 minutes of the game, you cannot rebuild. So what's going to happen here is the 10 players just going to push forward, siege up, and he's going to win the game. And then you, as a lower league player, will look at this and go, well, you know, siege tanks are OP, Marines are OP, this map is imbalanced. These are all like these little buzzwords that people throw about. But what I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, the reason you lost this game is that. Okay? It's the mechanic of saturating your bases. Now, if you can master this, like, if you can get 16 drones here, 16 drones here, 16 drones here, keep this watchtower and make sure you scout on that 13th drone, I promise you win this game. I absolutely promise you win this game. And if you can keep this up for every single game you play, like, the first thing you concentrate on is getting that scout in. See what's going on, make sure he's not cheesing you. See what build he's going, etc, etc. And then you go, okay, he's cheesing me. So that means that I make those first 6 lings. I make a spine crawler. I'm safe. Then you drone up. Or you go, okay, you went 1 Rex CC. I then make those drones. I make nothing but drones. I don't need those lings just yet. Maybe I make 2 to keep this watchtower. But other than that, you're just like drone, 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 drone. And by the time this, let's see this first kind of marine counterattack, attack comes in. I think it was like 8 minutes. Yeah. So by the time this like first marine marine attack comes in, you've got like, 40 to 50 drones. You've got ling speed, and you've got like 50 lings, because by the time he gets from, like, for example, the watchtower vision is there. So by the time he gets there, you could have a whole army waiting for him by the time he gets there. So this is why these mechanics and these core fundamentals, scouting, reacting, making drones, etc, etc, is really, really important. So, by the time this attack comes in, you've just got a whole army waiting for him. And, like, you may look at this and go, well, I had an army, and I killed it, and that makes me feel good. It's like, I didn't lose anything, I lost a few lings, blah, blah, blah. Yes, but if you fail this attack, you lose. Like, if you just survive somehow, you just lose. Because you just don't have that backing, and that is what I'm on about with Foundations. You just need that, final backing. So yeah, my kind of... Let's go to me. Hello. So the final kind of words in this are, in order to improve efficiently, work on your foundations. Your foundations being scouting, making workers, and make sure you saturate properly, and just keeping map control with watchtowers. Like, if you're Protoss, send a Zealot to a watchtower, or get an Observer out, even better. If you're Terran, send a Marine to a watchtower, scan, etc. Each race has its own separate mechanics. We've looked at Zerg mainly here. Like, lings on watchtowers are fantastic. They cost 25 minerals and half a lava. Get them out there. There's no need for lings to be sitting about your base doing nothing. Get your overlords in there. Like, there's so many ways to scout, but I'm just going to put this in one broad aspect. Make sure you scout. 13 drone scout every single game. For any, like, there's no reason not to at all. Keep those watchtowers, and remember, guys, 16 workers on minerals, 6 on gas. 16 workers on minerals, 6 on gas. Then get yourself a third base if you want to. Just make sure you're spending that money. You're scouting, you're droning up. Just make sure you've got these core fundamentals, and then of course after that you can work on your hotkeys, etc. Like, for example, this guy's got his hatcheries on 1, which is fine, his queens on 2, his army on 3, and this first overlord on 4. That's absolutely fine. If that suits you, that suits you. And then you can work on other things like injection methods, backspace method, etc, etc, or warp gate, rotations and stuff like that. Like, there's loads more things you can work on, but the absolute core fundamentals that you should be working for is making sure you spend your money scouting, keeping map control with watchtowers, etc, etc, and just keeping those bases saturated. That's it, guys. So yeah, this has been the pilot episode of my new show. I've been Colin Butter Me Up Partridge. I do a lot of Starcraft hosting, a lot of stuff on my personal YouTube. I'm just going to bring up this splash screen so you can just see a little bit more. Ohm.tv /Nordressel Radio is where all my content kind of goes. This show will be separate. YouTube is where the show is going to be uploaded to at /SCButterMeUp. And also my contact details are up there in the left hand corner. You can Skype me, you can Twitter me at SCButterMeUp. Any feedback would be greatly appreciated. Please leave it in the comments. If you liked it, then like it. If you want to share it, please do. This is going to be posted on Starcraft Strategy. and then maybe moved over to Starcraft if it gets good response. And of course, it will be aimed at this player who asks for help on Starcraft strategy. So yeah, guys, if you want to get in touch, please do. Hope you've enjoyed the show today, and brilliant. Thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Bye bye.